the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, discussions continue over carbon credits. The church and police partner in the crime fight. The Governor General honors Bahamians abroad. And in sports, highlights from day 2 of the World Championships. The Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, starts now. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Jimenita Swain. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news, the Gaming Board launching its Corporate Social Investment Initiative and the premiere release of its official magazine earlier today at Bahama Grand Hyatt. Among those congratulating Gaming Board officials were Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, and former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie. The Deputy Prime Minister thanked Gaming Board Chairman Dr. Daniel Johnson and his team, and also used the opportunity to explain more about responsible gaming reform.
This initiative will be funded by 1% of the earnings of the gaming houses as outlined in the gaming legislation. And we appreciate gaming houses and their eagerness to cooperate and support this initiative. I must also remind the nation that many of these gaming houses and their associates have been doing exemplary charitable work already across the country. I would hope that this practice will also continue as we move to streamline this give back and philanthropy in an organized, transparent protocol.
In other news, high honors for several Bahamian descendants in the South Florida community during the first International Bahamas Diaspora Association Awards dinner in Miami, Florida last evening. The historic figures recognized for their work in building the South Florida communities during the early and late 19th century. Here's Desmond Sanders.
4 Black Americans of Bahamian descent given top honors during a ceremony in Miami, Florida, Saturday night. The presentation, hosted by the International Multicultural Heritage Tourism Network and the National Association of Black Hotel Owners and Operators. The event, recognizing the contributions of African American Bahamian historic pioneering figures in South Florida who assisted in the growth and development of their communities. Governor General of the Bahamas, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius Alvin Smith, applauding the honorees.
Mrs. Enid Pinckney, President of the Curtis Foundation, for her stellar leadership and for the significant contributions made in the restoration of the Hampton House. Congratulations are also extended to Mrs. Thelma Gibson, former Miami City Commissioner, for your tireless efforts with the Theodore Roosevelt Gibson Memorial and your outstanding service to the people of South Florida. I'm also pleased to recognize Dr. Dorothy Fields, founder of the South Florida Black Archives and Restoring the Lyrics Theater. And finally, I recognize posthumously the invaluable contributions made to the city government and politics by the late president of the Bahamas American Federation, Mr. James Morse.
Smith says the event is significant for the Bahamas.
I commend the organizers of this summit, which seeks not only to recognize the pioneering efforts of our honorees, but also seeks to harness the talents of the many Bahamians living in the U.S., whose objectives is to assist the growth and the development of their homeland, the Bahamas.
The awardees share a rich history in South Florida. Some of them were early settlers from the Bahamas, credited with building the Coconut Grove and the surrounding South Florida community.
But this one is very special because it's from the homeland. My grandparents were both born in Harbor Island, and just 2 miles north of Eleuthera. And so the Bahamas is my second home.
What we have to do is we're going to have to teach our young people what the history is.
Oh, it's such a privilege. I'm
tonight's event, the first of many awards that will take place. Officials hoping to preserve the rich legacy and histories of these talented Bahamians. Here in Miami, Florida, Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
From police, take a look at your screen as they need your help in locating 19-year-old Brandon Smith of Meadow Street. Police want to question him in connection with murder. Smith stands between 5'6" to 5'9" tall with a dark brown complexion and slim build. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of 19-year-old Brandon Smith should contact police. Also from the crime beat, Bimini police making a drug bust yesterday while patrolling the Porgy Bay area shortly before 4 p.m. They saw two men acting suspiciously. A search of one of the men discovered a black wallet pouch in his left pants pocket containing a quantity of suspected marijuana. The Port Royal resident and the other person in the car were later arrested. Meantime, a male visitor and his young daughter escaping serious injuries after being involved in a traffic accident yesterday. Police confirmed that the Brentwood, Tennessee residents were riding in a beige and gray golf cart when they collided with a black Honda Accord. This later resulted in both visitors being ejected from the golf cart. The American visitors were transported to the Bimini Community Clinic with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the other vehicle was not injured. In other crime-related news, often criticized for not doing more in the fight against crime, the church last week stepped up to the plate. Executives of the Bahamas Baptist Convention, led by President Reverend Dr. Lloyd Smith, pledged their allegiance to each other and by extension the wider community to work as a united force to reduce crime in the country. Reverend Lloyd's comments coming during a courtesy call on the new Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando, and his hierarchy.
Baptists will do whatever we can, including giving you the use of our auditorium, our grounds, to have anything that you. Yeah. We got a big auditorium there, and we got all kind of school grounds.
Brother Lloyd, I appreciate your presence here this morning, you and your team, and I believe that it's timely based on what is going on in our country today with respect to crime. And I believe that we need to come together to identify the problems and then to move forward.
Well, during the meeting, Commissioner Fernando briefly outlined his approach to fighting crime.
I have identified structure, proper communication, and accountability. And this is what I want moving forward with this organization.
Well, now to news from health. 28 new COVID infections recorded in the last two dashboards from the Ministry of Health and Wellness for Friday and Saturday. Of the hospitalized, one person is in the intensive care unit at Doctors Hospital, while 65 other patients are moderately ill. 484 cases remain active, with 14 recoveries on Saturday. The total number of cases countrywide now stand at 36,435. Also to come in the weekend edition, resolutions forthcoming in the Parks and Beaches contracts dispute. The details of that and other stories after the break.
We, the Bahamian people, were stagnant, subject to British rule, until one glad day, July 10, 1973, we were free. Forward, upward, onward, and together, the embodiment of the Bahamas. Black for the backbone, the strength of our people. We never falter nor fail. Gold, the bright beaming sun that shines on our Bahama land, lighting the way. Aquamarine, the bold crystal blue waters envelop this great country and give accent to our rich marine life. With its rich history, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas celebrates 49 years of freedom and liberty. On behalf of the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority, we would like to wish everyone an ecstatic and genuine Independence Day.
portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Thanks for staying with us. The Davis administration's made it no secret that the country can definitely reap the benefits from carbon credits. Just last week, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, tabled a carbon credit bill in the House of Assembly, touting the Bahamas will be one of the first countries to take advantage of a new phenomenon, blue carbon credits as it relates to seagrass. The Prime Minister revealed the ocean-based credits will allow government to tap into a completely new source of revenue that will undoubtedly benefit the Bahamian people. Governments even inked a deal with a Bahamian company, Carbon Management Limited, to ensure our sustainability in this market. Also contributing to the recent carbon credits bill debate in Parliament was the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Vaughan Miller, who highlighted some areas the bill would address.
So gone will be the days that ships and vessels can dump fuels and chemicals into our beautiful waters and think they can get away with it. Gone are the days when companies can indiscriminately discard fuel, waste materials without consequences. Gone are the days, Madam Speaker, when factories and businesses only concentrated on profits and versus the impact to our environment and our climate. They had no regards of it, but gone are those days. Madam Speaker, again, this is a new day when the environment must take priority, it must be protected, and there must be legal consequences for those who disregard and willfully damage it.
He also listed some of the other bill's parameters.
It creates a legal framework for the conducting of carbon trading credits, including carbon trading exchanges, carbon credit verification, and carbon trading registries. That's carbon credit verification bodies, it should be. B, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, a government agency, must give approval for the listing of carbon trading products on carbon trading exchanges. There will be a registration requirement for persons wishing to conduct carbon trading businesses or operate as a carbon exchange.
Although the opposition Free National Movement supports climate change and carbon markets initiative, leader and member of Parliament for Marco City, Michael Pintard, questioned during the debate on the carbon credits bill, where will the carbon credit funds be distributed?
How does that work in terms of, if it is an area that's presently being managed by the Bahamas National Trust, how does that work in terms of the benefits that flow out of that? Does that hinder a quasi-government agency, Bahamas National Trust, or any of the NGOs that have been carrying out work in that area? How does that work in terms of us doing what we've been doing all along?
Well, Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador member Prime Minister Philip Davis addressed how the funds received would be directed.
Now, insofar as where the fund's going to go, it's going to go for the benefit of the Bahamian people. Yes. Firstly, it'll either go into a sovereign wealth fund or a special purpose vehicle. That's where all of it will be held. And then from there, the disbursements will be made. And it'll be transparent and accountable as always.
In other news, Bahamas Parks and Beaches Authority Chairman Mikhail Barnaby ensuring outstanding contract workers will be paid. And with the start of a new fiscal year now underway, the question remains whether all impediments regarding contract workers have been resolved.
It should be, because going forward, the KYC rolls over, as you would have indicated. And so anyone who is seeking a contract with the authority now would have to comply with our the KYC regime. For instance, for anyone who has been issued a contract, they must have a business license. The banking information must correspond with the business license holder and things of that nature. What we have found is that we have had persons who would have had business licenses and their banking information did not correlate with the business license. Doesn't mean that anything nefarious has happened. It also means that in some instances, persons may not have had a bank account, right? And so we find, and because we serve the underserved in most instances at the authority, and so we understand that we cannot take a very technical or suspect foul play in every instance.
Island Foodology, a new business on the scene, introduced by agriculture professional Shagara Lightbourne. While she has a focus on animal and poultry science, Lightbourne says the business really takes a look at how we produce food in an island setting.
We like to compare ourselves to the bigger countries like the United States and Canada, places like that. But we really can't compare ourselves food-wise and production-wise to them because we have a lot of different islands. We grow a lot of different crops together. More of those countries are monocrops, but we do a lot of mixed farming. So it really takes a look, island foodology really takes a look of island food, and ology means the study of, so the study of food on an island, really. So a lot of the focus for me is training, production of products, as well as some services in terms of consultancy and research.
And while beekeeping is another one of her many skills, she is still optimistic that more persons will be attracted to the agriculture industry.
Training and education is always key. Again, in the case of Dorian, we lost a lot of our forests, like hundreds and thousands of acres of forest land that were habitat for our birds and our bees and different animals. So now we have to rebuild. Because we didn't act quick enough, those plants have totally died, those trees have totally died, and now we got to start over again and replant, as well as we lost a lot of soil in those hurricanes. So teaching people about composting and using the organic matter that we have to put back into the soil and to build the soil back up is also very, very important. I think that's a niche that more people need to go into. The agricultural sector is very small professionally, so I hope to expand it a lot by encouraging more young people and showing them agriculture is more than just digging up in the dirt. There's so many different areas from the farm to the table that you can actually get into.
As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
My name is Nalia Duncan Forbes. I work within the healthcare industry and I am fully vaccinated. When I hear the word COVID-19, what first comes to mind is global pandemic. I do think my experience with COVID-19 would have been different if I was already vaccinated at the time that I had gotten COVID-19. I had moderate symptoms and it was not fun. I wouldn't want it again. That was also a big driving factor in me getting vaccinated. Even though I was the one that was sick when I contracted COVID-19, everyone in my family was worried. I don't like putting my family in a position where they are afraid or scared. I definitely got vaccinated for them. Talk to your healthcare providers and get vaccinated. The time is now.
On your marks.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Sunday sports. Only two athletes from the 242 competing yesterday at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, and both would be successful in their attempts to move on to the semifinal rounds. Anthony Strawn and Tanya Gaither both competing in the heats of the women's 100 meters. First would be Strawn qualifying after running 11.08 seconds in heat 1 to move on to tonight's semifinal. Jamaica Sharika Jackson would take the top spot in that heat in a time of 11.02 seconds. Also moving on would be the Bahamian national champion, Tanya Gaither, who in heat 2 of the women's 100 meters would advance with a time of 11.16 seconds. Taking that heat would be Jamaica's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price in a time of 10.87. Both women will compete in the semifinal rounds later this evening around 8 p.m. In the Bahamas Bodybuilding Fitness Federation Nationals wrapping up last evening at the Atlantis Theater. A look at some of the results in the women's bikini novice division. Castasia Stewart would take first place. The women's bikini nationals division, Fania Joseph would take the gold there. In the open bikini class G, Castasia Stewart would take first again. In the men's muscular physique, Jimo Smith would take that category. In the women's fitness nationals, that will go to Sean Abo. In the men's classic physique novice division, Andrew Gibson would finish first there. The women's fit model nationals, Nadia Smith would finish first there. Over in the men's fit model, it would be Alexander Camp taking the gold there. Over in the men's bodybuilding middleweight, Giovanni Farrington would take the first there. Over in the men's bodybuilding middleweight nationals, Giovanni Farrington would win the gold there. As for the overall winners, men's bodybuilding would go to Giovanni Farrington. Women's wellness overall would go to Kara Saunders. Men's physique overall would go to Kaif Young. And women's bikini overall would go to Fania Joseph.
I'm lost for words because I competed. My first competition was 2017, whereas I came run-up. And I, even though I won novice, I came run-up overall. And I came back in 2018 and I competed, and I came run-up again to the same person who won it, who I consider my big brother. And to come out here tonight actually, and to have won the title is an honor.
It's an incredible feeling after working arduously for about 4 months. It feels fulfilling to reap the reward of winning the overall title.
Right now, surreal. It feels amazing to have won nationals. After Northern Bahamas, like I said, my goal was to then duplicate that win, come out here and do it again. So I'm elated. I am so happy right now. I feel great. A little anxious about, coming out here and doing it from the home crowd. So being home and national winning, I feel pretty good.
After much anticipation, volleyball is back. The New Providence Volleyball Association holding its preseason tournament at the D.W. Davis Gymnasium. First Vice President Adalbert Ferguson.
What we started is pre-season tournament. We finally got volleyball started back after 2 years. We had COVID issues. We had a kind of a challenge trying to get a facility for volleyball to play. But that all came together, so we're trying to put on some tournaments before our season starts, which is the second week in September.
And he hasn't been in the country for nearly 6 years, but the Bahamas' first Olympic medalist in track and field, Frank Rutherford, is back in the 242. We hear the ZNS Total Sports team had a sit-down with the legendary triple jumper on a number of issues, including his athletic feats and the current state of track and field. Here's a preview.
To be born in this country and to be able to become the first pioneering athlete in track and field, to take us to the promised land. At the World Championships in 1987, I won the country's first World Championship medal. Then, of course, everybody knows about Barcelona. Before me, nobody thought it could be done. Nobody thought it could be done. And so when I was able to break the glass ceiling, I think it did so much, not just in the sport of track and field, but it also built a confidence. It also built a belief system into the DNA of Bahamians.
And that's when we look at sports, a check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
I so glad you get me out this house. Things been rough since Marvin died from COVID.
You know I have for you. How the children coping?
They all right. They going out with their friends more.
At least they vaccinated, so you know they safe.
Well...
Debbie, you serious? You ain't vaccinate the children after what happened with Marvin and they over 12?
I hear so much things about this COVID vaccine, I know what to think.
Debbie, what you mean? We know they're safe. Just like the other ones we to get. You forget how JJ had COVID plus he got sugar? He only pulled through because of the vaccine.
I willing, Keisha, but I scared. I can't lose my children too.
Well, Debbie, this COVID ain't over yet. Please carry the children to one of them government clinic. Y'all go get vaccinated and protect yourself and your family.
Thanks, Keisha. I will make sure my family's safe.
You better. Hey, chef, fix us up. I hungry bad.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and USAID.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
It's time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jimenita. We are under partly cloudy skies, temperature 88 degrees, relative humidity at 74%. The winds are out of the south at 12 miles per hour, barometric pressure 1,018.4 millibars. That's 30.08 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, we're picking up 84 degrees in Marshall, Babaco, Green Key, and Freeport, Grand Bahama. The Berry Islands at 86, Alice Sound, Bimini 86 degrees, 81 degrees in Harbor Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera 87 degrees, 85 in Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space, St. Andrews, while Fresh Creek and Central Andrews have a temperature of 84 degrees. Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey at 89 degrees, Georgetown, Exuma 88, 88 also in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, McGuanan, and Acklands, Matthewtown, Inagua 87, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 86 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight through tomorrow in the northwest and central islands. The winds are going to be southeast at 12 to 18 knots. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet, so caution flags are in place for the northwest and central islands tonight into tomorrow. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet. High tide will occur at 11:57 tonight with a low tide at 6:24 tomorrow morning. Now for the southeast Bahamas tonight and Monday, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots. The wave heights, they're going to be a bit choppy, 4 to 7 feet over the ocean, and hence caution flags also in place for the southeast Bahamas. Now in the tropics, it remains relatively quiet. We still have that lone tropical wave approaching the Windward Islands. Strong upper level winds continue with Sahara dust remaining in place, keeping the lid on development of any subtropical cyclones. Our satellite picture, that mid to upper level trough, which produced some heavy rains and thunderstorms over the past several days, has now lifted. It's still firing up some showers around the Grand Bahama and Abaco area. It wouldn't be until tomorrow that it completely clears out of the area. Tonight, we're going in for partly cloudy and warm with a passing shower early, 79 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, we're looking at breezy at times with clouds and sunshine in the mix. High temperature tomorrow, 89 degrees. Extended weather forecast, nice weather right into Tuesday, but remaining rather hot. We get some showers move back into our forecast middle of the week, Wednesday into Thursday, but those daytime temperatures going to be rather steamy. And once again, we continue to remind you to remain hydrated. Jimenita.
Thanks, Basil, and that will end the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network, as only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's